Hey guys, Happy New Year and welcome back. Power has finally returned in episode 611 entitled Still DRE, a nod of course to Dr. Dre's classic West Coast smash focused on arguably its most despicable character, Dre, and the events that transpired on the day Ghost was shot. In this video, we'll be breaking down the top 20 WTF moments chronologically and analyze them in between. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and bell notification to immediately receive these videos and help them rank in YouTube. I'll have that previously promised Tariq video on the way for you this week, as well as a trailer breakdown for episode 612 entitled He Always Wins. So lock in, cause here we go. WTF moment number 1. Dre sees the news broadcast announcing Ghost's bid for lieutenant governor. Now this is the same broadcast that Ramona alerted Ghost to in 610, and it's a bad look for Dre on a major front. It indicates that his attempted frame job with Saxe didn't pan out as expected, and that Ghost is more powerful than ever following the non-arrest. Dre confronts Saxe and gives him the bad news regarding Ghost's increasing political clout. WTF moment number 2. Dre gets into a shootout with the Serbians. We next see Dre meeting with his new drug crew. They're confronted by the Serbians looking for revenge for Jason's murder. Every single member of Dre's new outfit is killed by Jason's men, and Dre sheepishly escapes with his life after using one of his own soldiers as a human shield. Dre, however, doesn't escape the battle unscathed, slightly foreshadowing his fate. Number 3. 2-Bit and Spank get interrogated by Blanca. Now Blanca applies the pressure to 2-Bit and Spank in 2 separate interrogations. 2-Bit stands tall, following the hustler's unwritten code to the T. Spanky, however, folds under the pressure of them years and snitches on Tommy for previously killing Pancho. Number 4. Dre approaches his mother for money. Dre pulls up on his mother at church, someone the audience is meeting for the first time. The location is interesting because at the episode's beginning, we see Dre singing a church hymn to his daughter. That initially came off as weird given who we know Dre to be, but that's not necessarily who he always was, and only a child raised up in a church environment would be privy to such a tune. Dre appeals to her maternal instincts, speaking almost childlike to lower her defenses and ultimately manipulate her into giving in to his whims. Dre also reveals he has a daughter to his mother, something she doesn't believe being that it's her first time hearing it. Thinking her son is trying to pull one last hustle, she rebukes him and denies his request. Number 5. Dre threatens Tasha. Now after his mother scolds him, Dre approaches Tasha threatening to out Tariq as Ray Ray's murderer and burn down her daycare if she doesn't pay him $50,000. WTF moment number 6. Tariq asks Dre for a gun. Tariq subsequently meets with Dre and pays him some of the money for the brick. Reek promises to pay more with interest if Dre can get him a gun. Dre agrees if Tariq sets up a meeting with Ghost, the very meeting we saw in the mid-season finale. Dre then pulls up on Ghost for the infamous confrontation. Number 7. Dre asks Ghost for money. Now in this meeting, you might notice a slight change to the dialogue. That change in conversation is directly related to the change of perspectives. Initially, we saw this exchange from Ghost's view, which is why it was so condescending. Ghost views Dre as a peon, so he addressed him as such from his point of view. In Dre's case, he doesn't view himself in that manner, so the slight change speaks to his version of how that conversation went. This is an important plot point because we are going to see many versions of previous scenes from different perspectives, depending on who our focus is in a given episode. Something to remember while watching the remaining segments. In fact, the mid-season finale was actually the first take of that fateful day from Ghost's perspective. I'm interested to see how the others pan out as more clues become uncovered. WTF moment number 8. Dre makes a deal with Tate. Dre next meets with Tate. He offers up information on the St. Patrick's in exchange for clean plates and 2 new IDs for his family's fresh start. He secures these items by exposing Tariq's murder of Raymond Jones to Tate, something that Tate may have been trying to warn Ghost of in their prior exchange in the mid-season finale. Number 9. Dre gets arrested. On his way to get his money from Ghost, Dre is surrounded by squad cars and arrested for Jason's murder like we saw previously in the mid-seasoner. Number 10. 2-Bit and Spank get transferred. 2-Bit and Spank get mysteriously transferred from holding to the MCC, where Dre is ironically sent following his arrest. An unnamed guard then drops them a burner phone inside, which we know Ghost set up. Ghost offers 2-Bit and Spank a deal to kill Dre in exchange for family security while they're inside. WTF moment number 11. 2-Bit tells Tommy Dre snitched on the warehouse. Once Dre slithers his way out of prison, 2-Bit calls Tommy. He exposes Dre as the culprit of the warehouse raid. He also adds clarity to something we've been wondering for a while: BG's death. Now we saw how that went, but Tommy was apparently unaware until 2-Bit's call. Number 12. Dre escapes from Fed custody following release. Now we saw Blanca get Dre released in the mid-season finale by lying on Ghost in the murder of Terry Silver. After Blanca gets Dre released, Two feds escort him to a safe house. Before they can arrive, however, Dre fakes nature's call as a chance to flee. Number 13, Dre robs his mother. This is arguably one of Power's greatest scenes from Dre's epilogue. After fleeing the feds, Dre breaks into his mother's house and attempts to rob her for the getaway cash she refused him earlier. She confronts him, gun in hand, and they have an emotional exchange about the sins of his upbringing. Dre then reveals the real reason why he never told his mother about his daughter. The wildest thing about this scene was seeing if Dre was low enough to murder the woman that made him. That would have all but cemented his already dreadful fate. Dre does leave with the jury box instead of her life, however. 14. Tate offers Dre $100K for the murder of Ghost. Dre doubles back to Tate for his previously requested items, but Tate raises the stakes. He offers Dre $100,000 to kill Ghost. After a slightly humorous exchange, Tate uses the newly minted identification Dre desires as security against him in the event that he fails to kill James. WTF moment number 15. Dre knocks Blanca out cold. Dre, after initially heading towards city limits per his baby mother's request, decides to indeed honor his deal to Tate and save future law enforcement evasion. He decides to make one last trip to Truth, but before he can do the deed, he hears the fateful shot and subsequently flees. On the way out, he runs into Blanca, who barely gets his name out before catching the greatest fade of the new year thus far. Dre hilariously pieces Blanca and gets back to his mad dash out of town. At a stoplight nearby, he sees Tommy stoically standing, looking as if he's anticipating a violent confrontation or possibly fleeing one himself. We'll see. Number 16. Ghost's murder is confirmed via the news. Dre makes his final stop at a gas station. At the register, he hears the news and confirmation of Ghost's death, something that has been in question since we saw him fatefully falling in the mid-season finale. Seeing Ghost get shot was sad enough, but the confirmation of his death just hits different and makes the viewer relive his inevitable fate all over again. Dre subsequently gets arrested again, this time surely for that Blanca fade. 17. Dre gets killed. After yet another arrest, Dre ends up back at the MCC. He has a final confrontation with his mother, who ironically gets a chance to not only meet Dre's daughter, but become pivotal in raising her, a second chance at getting things right following the tumultuous former job she did with Dre. Dre bids his family final farewell and is killed in prison by 2-Bit and Spank. 2-Bit and Spank burn him alive, a poetic way for someone to die after burning everyone around him time and time and time again. 2-Bit had many reasons to kill Dre, a snitching, backstabbing, but 2 hails it as payback for Brock and sends Dre to his maker. Side note, notice the towels and gas being thrown into Dre's cell match those in the Final 5 trailer being burnt up by a then unknown figure. Keep your eyes open. 18. 2-Bit drops dime on Spank to Tommy for snitching. Spanky is suspiciously released early. 2-Bit, having long suspected him of snitching, immediately tells Tommy, solidifying the series-long beloved character to the only end there is. 19. Spank gets out of prison. We're then shown Spank meeting with Rodriguez to sign his release papers, and true to character, he makes a wisecrack at her newly minted black eye courtesy of Dre. She asked about his alleged involvement in Dre's murder, which he denies. He timidly asks if Tommy will ever know, completely unaware that Tommy will indeed be on his ass at first sight. He then smugly responds to Rodriguez's question, if 2-Bit's a real G, what does that make you? With, quote, a free man, end quote. This statement coincides with Kanan's earlier proclamation that
there ain't no friends out here on these streets.
And final WTF moment number 20, Blanca meets with Paz. In our final image, we see a seemingly troubled Paz meet with Blanca briefly. This is interesting on a few fronts. For one, we know that Paz formerly visited Ghost at Truth to gain insight on what truly happened to Angie. Ghost, a true-to-the-game hustler and better liar, denied any knowledge of Angie's true killer. In the final moments of 610, we're shown a flash of Paz and Tate appealing to Blanca for James's arrest and punishment. I suspect that Paz was wearing a wire in that emotional appeal for the truth in Ghost Club, and that she's showing up now to reveal to Blanca that the plot didn't work and they need to find another way to get Ghost off the streets before he can make it to the governor's suite. At her wit's end, did she indeed pull the trigger on the Ghost Man? We'll definitely find out in the episode to come, and by the looks of it, Paz's motives will be revealed in next week's episode entitled, He Always Wins. Thank you for watching today's video. As always, if you like today's video, don't forget to hit the like button for us, share it with your friends who are Power fans, and subscribe for more content such as this. We got 4 more episodes to go, so I hope everyone's tuned in. This is Rudy P. Magic of rudypmagicbeats.com, and have a blessed one as always until the next one. Peace.